So for me, it's Larry, but I get what G Baby says about being more skilled. I just disagree with it. I think Larry's more skilled and he's greater. But I agree with what
I
Buop
think
said. Like KD could end up possibly being greater, but he's got to. He's not got to do just some shit. He's got to do a lot of shit
yeah,
because
that's what I'm saying. Like it's too much. It's too much for KD to do
I
that.
don't know if there's enough time left for him to
Yeah,
do the shit he has
to
to
even
do.
amount to Bird's what Bird was on the field, like on the floor, what he was on the floor. KD, like what does he have to do to amount to that? Like Bird was that guy on the floor. Like you got people talk about McHale and Parrish. I watched a couple of games, and McHale and Parrish was skilled, but they don't get most of what they were getting on without Bird being there. Bird, I watched the game where Bird had three bad quarters, and in the fourth quarter, when the game was on the line, he clutches up and wins the game for us. Like and he did it over and over and over. 24 times did he have game tying shots. 4 times did he hit buzzer beater game winners. Like Larry was clutch. Let's look back at that play, Isaiah Thomas inbound. What does Larry do? Show Isaiah that he has enough space to get the pass off and jumps it past it. To have the awareness to do that is crazy, bro. It's crazy. I love KD. KD's my guy. I love KD. But I don't think KD, in my opinion, can surpass Bird. I'm sorry. What Bird did for the game alone, KD ain't doing that for the game. Yeah, skilled. I would agree. KD is more skilled. But I'm kind of with GK too. I think Bird bag is deep. I just don't think people know what Bird has in that bag. And he played the whole game left-handed and scored what, 49 points or 47 points?
Right.
Yeah, and they said skilled scorer. And I was like, okay, that's a better word for it. It's just when I said skilled, I was like, all right, if I like just as a basketball player, who do I think is just better just from my eyes? Yeah, I say Larry. But I mean, I'm sorry, I said KD. But
I was gonna say,
my bad. KD. But the thing is, man, and I know I'm young. I know I'm 98 born and stuff, so I'm a really good
shit.
But I'm very old school. Shout out to my dad for instilling that in me. I'm very old school.
That's how
one thing I was always told, finish what you start. Like, so I'm not really a fan of asking for trades mid-season. I'm not really a fan of, trying to hold out and all that. But I do not like how you was up 3-1. Choked too. Like, I know everybody want to put it on Westbrook. Game 6, KD was not hooping. I was watching that game like, yo, KD, what are you doing, bro? This is not you.
Settling. He was settling.
Absolutely.
One thing, G baby, before you continue. I'm so godly. You say, I'm gonna pop it back up on the screen. I hate when that comes up, the argument about Bird left-hand game. He scored 10 out of his 21 buckets with his left hand, not the whole game. So if you go watch tape, and what is his teammate saying in that game? What is the opponent saying in that game? That he shitted on them with his left hand. That's what his opponents are saying. He shitted on them with his left hand. That's his opponents and his teammates. So
do you not know how impressive it is for him to just score 4 of them
points with his left hand? Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive.
And Bird did say, quote, I'm going to try to play the majority of the game with my left hand. And they say he played about 3/4 with his left hand. Go watch the tape.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say about KD is, though, I do think, like, if he somehow, because it's very realistic that he probably get 30,000 career points. That's very realistic. And if he wins another title, another Finals MVP, I think that'll be enough.
So what about Bird's? What about Bird's three MVPs regular season back to back? Last player to ever do it. One of 3. It's only 3 people in NBA history, and he was the last to do it in the 80s. Nobody in his modern era. None of the evolution. None of that.
Listen, I'm not taking that away from him. That's part of his resume, right? But I don't factor MVPs, right? Like that's the trump card in this debate, because if that's the case, Steve Nash, he won back-to-back MVPs. Like it weighs.
Larry Bird, Larry Bird. If you go look at Larry Bird's prime, every year of his prime, he was top 3 in MVP votes.
I'm not taking. That's what I'm saying. I know what Larry was. I'm not taking that from him. He was a great player. The problem for Larry is that he don't have the longevity, right? He had a short career. Not a real short career, but it should
wasn't as long as other people.
It wasn't just as long.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying. And when KD gets done, he's going to have about 9,000 to 10,000 more points than Larry Bird. He will have the same amount of rings as Larry Bird. I think. I'm just saying. I have to still look at it. I'm not saying to be definitive.
So
I think that'll put him more in the conversation.
Larry has 3, right?
Yeah.
And you saying KD gonna get one more?
If he at least get one more, I think that would put him in the conversation. Like,
so what about the 10-time All-Star, 9-time first All-Star? Like, I think these, like, when you look at it, 3-time defensive, where does KD surpass him on that defensive end?
He won't.
It's got to be, honestly, and it's got to be All NBA. I hold that to more weight than I do All Stars.
That's why I said I didn't even write.
Absolutely. It's just when you started saying 10-time All-Star, I'm like,
no, I said 10-time NBA. I meant 10-time NBA, not All-Star. He was 12-time All-Star. He was 10-time NBA, 9-time first team.
KD like a 9-time All NBA, something like that. He's gonna catch them, and that's just due to longevity.
Well, hold on.
Is KD as clutch as Bird? Because I think Bird don't get enough credit for how clutch that guy.
So listen, I want to say this.
I think he's not a Troy.
I know. I'm just asking questions. I'm just trying to make it interesting.
I want to say this. Like, let's say Kyrie is still whatever, not fully on or off, or Simmons or whatever. Like, if I can see KD,
that's a good question,
predominantly, like if he were to win this year and he's not getting any kind of crazy help from Kyrie or Simmons, right? And it's basically him. Then I'll give him some flowers. But is that like if he can get past Embiid, if he can get, I don't know if he can somehow win, but if he were, I'll give him his flowers a little bit. But would that still end up like overpassing Bird? No. I would have to see him do it like two at least times, 2 or 3 times with good context, not just like, all right, he was supposed to win because he was on a stacked team, and they won because that's what they were supposed to do.
And like those rings, I'm sorry. I know everybody's like, oh, well, he got in a 7-game series with the Rockets. That was one time. It's not like it was a tooth nail battle through the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's not like he was. No, there was one series KD was in with the Warriors where it went 7 games. I don't think he was ever in a tough series ever, other than that Rockets one.
That's what I'm saying. And I was a KD fan. I wanted him to come back and be like, "Yo, run it back again next year, and run it back again next year." And I want to see KD beat them the following year, saying like, "All right, you beat me, now I have to beat you."
Because they would have. I guarantee you if they would have ran it back.
Bro, and then if KD won this following, if he stayed, beat them, won the whole thing the following year, then I would still be on the KD bandwagon. Like, I would. But the fact that it didn't go like that, it just, oh my God, I hate it.